I kinda like you.
Let's chat about finding your purpose. We're talking today to the authors of the book, Finding Your Purpose. And we have Kohila Sivas. She's one of the authors, and she's written a chapter in this book. Welcome, Kohila. Why don't we'll start off by having you just tell a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And I love being part of Action Takers collaboration books. This is probably I can't even count. So many of them I have done. But this book is especially, the title was so important for me because finding my life and finding my purpose didn't happen until I was 32 years old. It was definitely a journey. And right now, I'm successful and I'm blessed with what I have, but my life didn't start like that. I was very, I had a bad, pretty much bad childhood, we could call it. It was very hard growing up. There's a lot of things that happened to me. I could have, instead of taking them as blocks or things that happens and becoming a victim, I took it as something that was teaching me something and what I could learn from it. So everything I have now is a result of looking at it as what can I learn from each of those opportunities. And some of them were hard, such as being raped at the age of 12 and having an alcoholic dad. So some of them were very hard, but these are all of the things that shaped who I am today. So
yeah. The things we go through or the things that we grow through, right? Our circumstances, and good or bad, shape us into who we are. And a lot of times especially the tragic things and the sad things really are what give us that grit, and that determination to overcome.
Absolutely.
And and I guess you could go either way, right? But for those who step up and say, you know what, I'm going to find my purpose, I'm going to go after what I want, you pull from those experiences, right? You pull from the things that you've been through in order to to grow. So tell us a little bit about your business.
Mm-hmm. So since I left high school, I also decided to kill myself at the age of 13. So I survived that. After coming back from that, I really fell in love with math. I really really hacked the codes of math. And I wanted to exit the school system as a high school student to become a teacher. That was my whole thing, is to not let any students do what I have done to myself, help them, and also share all of the secrets that I found in really getting good at math. Like, let me share that. But I went into the school system. I couldn't do it because the system wasn't designed that way to give what I wanted. So I had to create my own coaching methodology that was going to help the students the way I wanted to. Because a lot of us think that when a student struggles, we think that we need to teach them the concepts more, or they need to practice more, right? It doesn't matter what subject it is. We sit them down and say, you need to spend more time. You need to practice and practice and practice. With working with so many thousands of students, I realized that it's not what they needed. They needed more than that. They needed somebody to listen to them. They needed to see them as a person. So my methodology that I created over the 24 years of being with students enabled me to become a learning success coach, a neuro growth learning success coach, which is like I can work with any student who is struggling and reprogram their minds to achieve anything in their life, whatever they want. So I wanted to create more of me. 11 years ago, I left the teaching and I started only doing learning success coaching on my own. So when COVID hit, and I also went online during that time, 11 years ago. So when COVID hit, obviously my business was already COVID proved. I didn't have to go online. I was already online. So that gave me added advantage of being very successful. So I had a choice. Either I could employ teachers to make more of me, of what I was doing with the students, or to empower them. So I looked at how I felt as an employee and the relationship I had with the families, and I didn't like it. I didn't like that route. So I said, I want a holistic relationship between the student and the coach. So I decided that I would empower the teachers and give them what I have and teach them what I have and create their own business. So I've been doing that for the last year and a half. I have over close to 120 coaches who are going through or gone through the program as a certification program. I have been offering them. So they start their own learning success coaching practice and they offer that individually to students.
That's so awesome because everyone learns in their own way, especially with the kids, and so having that individualized opportunity and for teachers to be able to now use that in their tutoring of other kids and their teaching of other kids is remarkable. So I commend you for that. Thank you so
Thank
much for doing that for the kids because it's so needed today. And with COVID, a lot of the kids got so far behind because of the teaching wasn't up, wasn't able to happen.
Well, like many of us, right? We've been through, when you get something that scares you to your life is in danger. We don't look at learning. Learning is the fourth or the fifth in line. First is safety, right? So
Right.
we were all dealing with survival mode. So nobody to be blamed. It's just what happened. But right now, at least every student right now who struggled at that time, they're at least 4 years behind, and we're not doing anything for them. So that's my biggest mission now, is to close that gap, because the students are really struggling, and that just adds more pressure to teachers in the classroom, because they have 30 students. They can't differentiate their instructions to all the kids who are in different places, right? So it's hard.
Right.
It's really hard.
So your chapter is called Blossom in the Storm. What does that mean? Can you tell us a little bit about what you
Because
wrote about?
my life was like a storm. Like it was like a tornado, or if you had a warning for tornado, that was what it was like every day was different. I know a lot people can relate who lived in a household where you had an alcoholic dad, right? So it was like that. What's the next thing that's going to happen? What's going to happen next? You're always on the edge of figuring out what your life is going to be. It's never safe. Safety was the last thing on the list of everything, right? So and you're always alone. Even though you have so many people around, you feel like you're alone. You're dealing with it all alone. And I had my mom. My mom is amazing, but unfortunately my mom, lot of women of her era, didn't have the, I guess, the power, or the maybe the education or the gut to just stand up to something and say, you know what, you can't do this. Like, if for my son, if anybody does that, I'm like, no, that's not happening on over here, right? I have that. My mom was powerless. So I also learned how not to be that person, so she did teach me stuff during that time, but she didn't help me though. She didn't help me. Like, she was powerless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking to the authors of the book, Finding Your Purpose. We want to remind everyone to head on over to actiontakerspublishing.com/purpose, get your copy. And if you're watching this over on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Kohila, how can people connect with you if they want to, if they're interested in being part of your program or learning more about it?
Yeah, if parents are looking for not a tutor, more than a teacher, a holistic learning success coach, they can check out our website, learningsuccessacademy.com. This is specially designed for parents. We have very unique way of onboarding our students so they can go through a clarity coaching call, which is absolutely free. It will give you so much clarity on what's happening to your child, and then you can decide to work with one of our certified coaches. They're not only certified now, we just got accredited by the International Coaching Federation. So all of our coaches have been also accredited and approved by the International Coaching Federation. So we have a holistic program. So it's not tutoring. It's not, you're not hiring a tutor. You're hiring a learning success coach. This is a big difference. So they can learn more about that as learningsuccessacademy.com. But if you're an educator or a teacher watching this and you would like to find out what is holistic learning success coach is all about, you can check out learningsuccesscoaches.com. That website is for teachers and educators.
Awesome. Awesome. So we want to remind everyone to head on over to actiontakers.com/purpose. And your free gift will be over there. And your free gift is a complimentary coaching session, I believe, correct?
Yes. And for parents right now, we also have a assessment that is a value of $400. That's off from our assessment. We do a full assessment before we take on any students because it's a holistic model. We have to figure out where the child is. We don't begin by saying where they should be. We begin by where they are. And that's how we can get success with every child.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So what can the readers expect to take away from reading your chapter in this book?
I'll say what I don't want them to take away is that here's a person who's dumping their story on them. I didn't want them to take away that. I wanted to see how many things that I've gone through. It's like when we find gold, right? We don't find it in the purest form. Or if you find diamond, you don't find it in the purest form. It has to go through so many refinement before it can get to its purest form. That's sort of like what life is. We are given so much so much tests in our life. We go through them all the time. And some of us go through some things that are hard and some things that are traumatic. But what I want them to see is that in every situation that I went through, I was able to grab something. And I didn't do that. So it was kind of later in my life that I realized that these were all opportunities that were given to me, even though some of them were very hard and very traumatic. They were given to me and they were lessons. There were lessons to be learned. And it's hard to notice them when you're going through it, but it does have your purpose. Now, I wouldn't have the methodology that I have today, how to retrain and reprogram the mind. I would not have that unless I did what I did in the past, right? Or what I have gone through. So all of that just gives you, incidences where you gain so much knowledge, learn about yourself, and become who you are. So nothing you are going through right now, if anything I want you to take away is what you're going through right now always has a lesson. Find that lesson. What are you supposed to learn from it? And that was my purpose. And that's how I found my purpose, is to look at all the things I've gone through and what did they teach me.
Yeah, and I think that that's a great, just a great segue for anybody, to look back at your life and to try to figure out, okay, what was I meant to learn from this experience, and how can I use this experience to help me to grow?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So thank you so much for being part of this, for sharing your story, and for just for everything that you do for children and for teachers. It's very commendable, and I thank you for that.
Yeah, and I want to leave the readers with this: finding purpose is like sometimes we when we're in a chaos, we don't know what we're going through, but there is a meaning to all of what we go through, right? There is, and it takes sometimes time. And I want people listening to be patient with themselves, because sometimes we rush and we don't give ourselves the time to be patient, to recognize what are we going through and what is it supposed to mean to me and what is the purpose of my life. And I'm living that today.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, and thank you for being part of this.
Thank you so much.
Everyone, I'm Marilyn Crump, expert dreamcatcher, business developer, and marketing strategist. And I really wanted to step in here to say just how amazing my experience has been in the recent days, because I am yet another #1 Amazon best-selling author. Woo! So it's very amazing to say that. And in this book, The Fearless Entrepreneurs, I was really engaged with just some fantastic co-authors as well. The publisher, Linda Sunshine West, just made everything so super easy. I'm a very busy entrepreneur, and I'm doing a bunch of things that I can think of to make sure that I'm getting out there and really telling my story. And this was such a brilliant way for me to get involved. And what I loved the most about this process was that there was a lot of cohesion with all of the different authors. I've been in other types of contribution books like this, but sometimes you don't get to know everybody and you don't really know what everybody's talking about. Then you almost feel kind of strange that the stories don't all quite align, even though you're under the same subject. I just feel like this one, it was very well explained. The premise was well set. The intention was there. And it was really easy to be in the flow with the other authors. So I just want to congratulate everybody else who's in the book, and to thank Linda Sunshine West for the opportunity. I'm just truly excited to be a part of it.